In the last 10 years, the European Commission has funded a large number of projects to create a national research network and international connections among them in Europe and in other regions of the world. On top of this national research network, which deploy huge bandwidth connections among research organizations, several other projects have created e-infrastructures, a combination of data storage infrastructures and distributed computing infrastructures. These have emerged in several regions and are supporting a huge number of virtual research communities belonging to several scientific and humanistic disciplines. The ChainReds project is a co-funded project by the European Commission and by large institutions in Europe, in Africa, in the Mediterranean region, in Asia and in Latin America, whose aim is to harmonize and connect on top of consolidated standards, e-infrastructures which are emerging in the regions addressed by the project with the European grid and cloud infrastructures. To make infrastructures easy, two new concepts are emerging. From one side, the concept of science gateways that are new generation portals able to hide the complexities of these distributed computing infrastructures and let users access in a seamless way computing infrastructures distributed worldwide. And identity federations that let users use the same set of credentials provided by their own organizations to access resources which are spread across different organizational boundaries. The ChainReds project is organizing now a training on science gateways deployment and identity federation services installation. This training has the participation of representatives from research networks from Morocco, Algeria, Jordan, and scientists and technologists from South Africa and Sweden. The aim of the training is to use the Catania Science Gateway framework, which has been deployed and developed in the context of ChainReds, to implement science gateways in these regions, deploy applications for the virtual research communities that have to be supported in these regions, and create identity federations to let these researchers belonging to these regions to access in a seamless and easy way these distributed computing infrastructures.
ASREN is the Association of Arab National and Education Research and Education Networks, as well as their strategic partners that aims to manage, implement and extend the sustainable pan-Arab e-infrastructure dedicated for research and education communities and to boost the scientific cooperation in the member countries through the provision of class e-infrastructures and e-services. ChainReds are supporting us in terms of implementation, infrastructure and deployments. For the e-services they provide, such as science gateways and federations. Such kind of training is very useful where you can share your technical issues. At the end, I expect that we have the ASREN Science Gateways up and running with many scientific portlets accessed for our communities through the Catch-all Federation.
It is the research center that operates the Algerian Research Network, ARN, and develops the national grid infrastructure, the DZ eScience Grid. CERIST is now participating under the umbrella of the Arab States Research and Education Network, ASREN, in the ChainReds project. We plan to deploy the ensemble of chain REDS services which are connected to the ARN Science Gateway and related to authentication and authorization of users through high-level security services.
Des utilisateurs par des techniques de sécurité élevée. Cette école qui a été organisée par l'équipe.
This school, organized by the NFN Catania team, is very important because it allows us to finalize some activities started a few months ago and achieve the objective of exploiting the chain REDS Science Gateway technologies.
Les objectifs de déploiement de ces technologies et de ces services à travers ce portail qui est le Scientific Gateway. L'école.
This school is the key to meeting our goals, especially those related to the development and deployment of scientific applications in our Science Gateway.
I'm Bruce Baker. I'm the coordinator of the South African National Grid. The National Grid in South Africa is a federation of institutes which provide resources to collaborative science. We work very closely with the CHPC, that's the Centre for High Performance Computing in Cape Town, and the South African National Research Network, which actually is supporting the South African National Grid. In fact, we've just recently brought the Regional Operations Center for Africa and Arabia to production. That means that all of the sites in our region are now collaborating with peer infrastructures in Latin America and Europe and so on. One of the things we're working on very interestingly is the support of large communities. And one of these, the reason that we're in this working week here is for a community called the Human Hereditary and Health in Africa project. That's H3A. The H3A project is about 20 or 22 institutes across Africa which are collecting genome data, and they need to transfer this data from various places on the continent to a central repository in Cape Town before it's processed and sent to the European Bioinformatics Institute. So we're working on something called a data gateway, which is going to transfer this data very securely from the various places under very different conditions of network and accessibility.
My name is Erik Eliasson. I'm working with the Royal Institute of Technology, KTH, in Sweden. It's the largest technical university. We have a capacity for about a third of Sweden's engineering education and research on university level. We're working with video conferencing, a platform which we are building different kind of applications on. And we see great value in integrating this with the Science Gateway. Benefit from the Science Gateway in terms of authentication and authorization. We can add support for scheduling meetings. It can store recorded meetings and so on.
The National Centre for Scientific and Technological Research is an establishment of the Moroccan Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research, which aims to promote and support research activities in Morocco through providing grants, technical services, scientific information and scholarships. Among the services offered by CNRST, we find the national NREN, known as MARWAN, MAGRID, the National Grid Initiative, which promotes robust grid infrastructure and enables Moroccan researchers to access computing power and the storage capacity they need for their scientific applications. Of this training, we hope to improve our skills in the fields of MAGRID and Identity Federation EDU-IDM.
ونتمنى من بعد هذا التدريب أن نطلق
We hope to launch the Magrid SGW for Moroccan users as soon as possible to facilitate the usage of the services we provide.
As you have seen, this training is quite successful. I mean, there are science gateways which are deployed in the countries, in the Arabic countries, in Morocco, Algeria, Jordan, in South Africa, and there are strong connections with the universities in Sweden to deploy a web conference system that can allow researchers to collaborate in a better and easier way across the various regions. This is one of the major impacts actually of the Chainreds project, and I think that the training that is going on in this week is one of the success stories of the project.